Retirement. It's a word that carries so much hope, doesn't it? For many of us, it's the dream we've held on to for years, decades. Even a promise of freedom, rest, and finally, time to enjoy life on our own terms. But here's the honest truth when retirement finally arrives. It can feel a little different than we imagine. Maybe instead of waking up every morning feeling relaxed and carefree, you find yourself a bit lost or even overwhelmed. The routine you once had, the structure that work provided, suddenly disappears. And instead of feeling free, you might feel adrift. I remember my dear friend Carol. She retired just last year. She had planned for it carefully, saved her pennies, and even moved to a cozy little cottage by the beach. The kind of place you see in postcards. She thought it would be the happiest time of her life. But one afternoon she called me, sounding a little fragile. She said,
"You know, I thought I'd be on cloud 9 all the time. But some days, I just feel like I'm floating around with nothing to do. I miss my routine. I miss feeling useful."
If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And that's exactly why I wanted to make this video today, to share some retirement secrets. Nobody ever told us until we were right in the middle of it. These are the little truths, the unexpected twists, and the helpful ideas that can make this next chapter a whole lot easier and more joyful. So settle in. Maybe pour yourself a cup of tea or get comfy in your favorite chair. And if you're looking for a little guidance or just a friendly voice who gets it, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. It's a small way of saying I'm here with you. All right, friend, let's dive in. Because retirement isn't just about stopping work. It's about starting something new, something beautiful. The money myths. Money. It's the elephant in the room, isn't it? For many of us, it's the thing that keeps us awake at night when we think about retirement. And the biggest myth? That if you just save enough, everything will be perfect. But here's what I've learned and what I wish someone had told me sooner. It's not just about how much you save. It's about how you manage, protect, and use that money once you're no longer earning a paycheck. Let me tell you about my Uncle Henry. He was a man who loved to joke, especially about money. He'd say,
"If I could just find an extra $10,000 lying around, I'd be set for life."
And while we laughed, there was a kernel of truth in that. Uncle Henry had saved diligently, but what he didn't realize was how important it was to have a plan for how to spend his savings. Should he withdraw a little each month? Should he wait a few years before touching his retirement accounts? How could he make sure his money would last as long as he did? These questions can feel overwhelming, but they're so important. Because the real secret is this: successful retirement is about making your money last, not just having a big pile of it. And that means thinking about things like inflation, unexpected expenses, healthcare costs, and even how your investments are set up. Here's a little tip that helped me: talk to a trusted financial advisor, but also educate yourself. There are plenty of simple guides that can help you understand things like withdrawal rates, Social Security benefits, and pensions. So I want to ask you, what's your biggest worry when it comes to money in retirement? Is it having enough? Or maybe it's something else, like managing expenses or unexpected bills. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Sometimes just knowing we're not alone with these worries can be a huge relief. Downsizing, letting go. Now let's talk about downsizing. You've probably heard the advice to refresh 1,000 times: downsize your home when you retire. And yes, it makes sense. A smaller home means less maintenance, lower bills, and sometimes a fresh start. But here's something most people don't talk about. Downsizing isn't just about packing up your belongings and moving to a smaller place. It's an emotional journey. I watched my neighbor Barbara go through this. She'd lived in her family home for 35 years. Every corner held a memory: the kitchen where she baked with her kids, the garden where she planted roses with her late husband. When Barbara finally decided to sell, it was heartbreaking. She had to say goodbye to not just a house, but a lifetime of moments. The day the moving truck left, she sat on the porch, tears in her eyes. But then something beautiful happened. When she settled into her new, smaller home, her eyes sparkled again. She told me,
It's lighter. I feel free.
downsizing gave Barbara space, physical space, and mental space to breathe and to dream again. So if you're thinking about downsizing, remember, it's okay to feel sad or hesitant. It's not just stuff you're letting go of, but old routines, identities, and sometimes even fears. Have you ever thought about downsizing? Or maybe you've already done it. What was that experience like for you? I'd love to hear your stories. Let's support each other through these big changes. The emotional roller coaster. Retirement can feel like a roller coaster. One day you're thrilled, no more alarms, no more deadlines. The next day you might feel lonely or even useless. Let me share a story about my friend Linda. She'd dreamed for years about a quiet, peaceful retirement. But one morning, as she sat, sipping her coffee by the window, she suddenly burst into tears. She said,
I didn't expect it to feel so empty, so quiet.
Linda's story is so common because retirement isn't just about gaining freedom. It's about navigating a huge emotional shift. Our work often gives us a sense of purpose and identity, and when that's gone, it can leave a big hole. It's okay to feel lost or lonely. It's okay to grieve the life you had before, and it's okay to ask for help or talk about it. If you're feeling this way, try to remember that these feelings are temporary. They often come in waves, and with time, they ease. Have you experienced this emotional shift? How did you cope? Maybe you found a new hobby or reconnected with old friends. Please share your experience in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Finding new purpose. Here's a secret that can transform your retirement. Purpose matters. Without it, all the free time in the world can start to feel like a burden. My Aunt June is a perfect example. She retired a few years ago, and instead of slowing down, she picked up painting, something she loved as a child but never had time for as an adult. Not only did she start painting, but she also began teaching art classes to children on weekends. It gave her days structure and, more importantly, joy. Purpose doesn't have to be big or grand. It can be volunteering at your local library, mentoring young people, gardening, or even starting a small business selling handmade crafts. Retirement is the perfect time to explore passions you might have put aside. What's something you've always wanted to try but never had the time for? Maybe now's your chance. I'd love to hear what lights you up. Share your dreams and ideas in the comments. Health is holistic. When we talk about retirement health, many people immediately think of exercise. And yes, staying physically active is important. But here's a secret: your mental and emotional health are just as crucial, maybe even more so. Think about how stressful work life could be. Retirement offers a chance to slow down, breathe, and focus on your whole well-being. My father, after retiring, started taking daily walks with his old friend Jim. They didn't just talk about the weather, they talked about life, family, dreams, and worries. Those walks became a lifeline for him, a way to stay connected and mentally sharp. Other ways to care for your mental health include practicing gratitude, meditation, or simply spending time in nature. What are some ways you keep your mind and body healthy? Maybe you have a favorite hobby or routine that brightens your day. Please share your tips. We can all learn from each other. Stay connected. One of the biggest challenges in retirement is staying socially connected. Without the daily interactions at work, it's easy to feel isolated. My friend Dave retired last year and started a weekly coffee group with some former colleagues. It wasn't about business, it was about friendship, laughter, and shared memories. Dave told me,
I thought I'd get bored, but this group keeps me going.
social connections aren't just nice. They're essential for our happiness and health. If you find yourself feeling isolated, try reaching out to old friends, joining a club, or even volunteering. How do you stay socially connected? What activities or groups have helped you? Let's share ideas in the comments so no one feels alone. So, there you have it. Some of the retirement secrets nobody told you until now. It's not always a smooth, easy ride we expect. But with understanding, patience, and a little planning, retirement can be one of the richest, most fulfilling chapters of your life. If this video spoke to you, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe and like. It helps me keep sharing these stories and tips with wonderful people like you. And please don't be shy. Share your thoughts, your questions, or your own retirement stories in the comments. Let's keep this conversation going because we're all in this together. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of yourself and remember, you've earned every moment of this new chapter. Until next time, my friend.